Welcome back! It's me again, Felix, and boy have I missed you guys. That first video that took place over the course of a few months was a blast. It was also one hell of a learning experience. I bit off way more than I could chew. I recorded the footage for 5 different spins in the span of the first week or so because I didn't really know how to make a video like that. But I did know how to brew, well, kind of. I also tried to make a character, drew it, made assets, learned how to animate, realized it was way too much of a first step, and then dropped the idea. For now. Maybe it'll come back, no guarantees. Then, a lot of personal things happened to me. I lost someone really important to me, I went on a trip, I got a new puppy, I came back, learned how to edit, learned how to do all of this audio stuff, then my microphone broke. I'm back now though, and I'm glad you are too, even if it's your first time. Let me go over how this series works, just to give us a refresher. While walking in the park one day, I found this wheel, and on it are all of the color combinations in Arena, minus the 4 color pairings of Omnath and Atraxa. Whichever slice we land on, I'll be looking through a list of all of the legal commanders in that color identity. We'll remove that identity from the list, and then we'll start brewing. Just so everybody's aware, we won't be making any CEDH tables with these decks, but for 1v1, they should be a lot of fun. Finally, I'm not going to be using Planeswalkers, not because they don't deserve to be commanders, but just in case we want to make another wheel. Now, before we spin this beauty, I do want to touch on just a couple more things. As of recording this audio, March of the Machines and its expansion pack, Aftermath, they've been released. I haven't seen any of it. I haven't played any Magic, besides some Paper Commander at home with friends. The next few videos are going to be March of the Machines free. Also, an important note is, this one should have been colorless, so that's another one off of the list. But like, the options and strategies were just so limited at the time, I just removed it from the list until the best option isn't an Eldrazi jerk. Okay, Felix, you talk a lot. We get it. Spin the wheel already. Okay, I'll spin the wheel. Ho ho! Gruul clans, baby! Let's go! I'm just kidding. If I'm honest, Gruul has to be one of my least favorite combinations. But I had the perfect commander come to mind as soon as this connected. The options aren't as vast as a monocolor deck, and we could have looked at some of the specialization cards even, but to hell with all of that because our guy is mean, he's half green, and he's gonna make me make a South Park reference. It's Ragadraga, Gorgut's boss. This guy here is probably one of the most Gruul clans commanders you could pick. And behind his beautiful smile, his green side shows with his children's novel-sized text box. Ragadraga, much like myself, loves dorks, mana dorks that is. He loves them so much that you may not even hate drawing a Llanowar Elves on turn 9. Let's break down this wall of text so that we have a better understanding of what's going on here. His ability is a lord, but like twice as good. A royal, if you will. He gives all your creatures with mana abilities +2/+2. That, a lot of the time, will just triple the size of those dorks. After that, whenever you attack with a mana dork, untap it. This novel is becoming a love story real quick. Not only do you get to attack with the Beef Brigade, but you also get to use the mana they produce, so you don't have to sacrifice one for the other, as long as you remember that you have a second main phase. But this paragraph is what distorts everything into the horror story that it truly was to begin with. Whenever you cast a spell, if at least 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature. That's alright. It kind of goes against the whole attack and use your mana thing, since it's only one creature that gets untapped. But, oh, wait, I'm sorry, there's more. It gets +7/+7 and trample until end of turn. Buddy, I don't know about you lot, but unless I'm playing against the most vile of stacks decks, when I spend 7 mana on a spell, that spell is usually a bomb. But then, to also make your Llanowar Elf a 10/10 trampler? Don't even get me started when you start thinking about dorks that make more mana the bigger the creatures are. Ragadraga is a demon. That's the only way my brain wants to describe it. It makes your 1/1s become 3/3s so that your go wide strat can kind of go tall. Whoever designed this in R&D said, hold my beer, I'm about to make a Gruul demon. And buddy, you win. Someone owes you dinner. Let's touch quickly on the strategy here since it's not too complicated overall. We want 2.5 things to go on. With equal importance, we will want mana dorks that'll just keep the board nice and thick as well as reduce our needs for mana ramp in the deck. And I know I keep referring to these creatures as mana dorks, but they're creatures with mana abilities. Keep your eyes peeled for any creatures that can make mana. Skirk Prospector, Runaway Steamkin both count. Restrictive mana like Chandra's Embercat, Goldhound still works. Animating lands is a good way to create creatures with mana abilities. Though, I kind of thought of that more when I was writing this script, as opposed to brewing this deck. The second part is have big spells, at least 7 mana. You have to spend 7 mana, so be careful. We'll talk about a couple of mess-ups later, but for the most part, the bombs are what you're playing. Old Gnawbone, Craterhoof, no question about them. Now, the half. That ties into the big spells part. We can't just load our decks 50-50 elves and big bitches. We need a curve still, kind of. So a lot of these spells are going to be X spells. That way, we don't pooch ourselves with one of the saddest sights in Magic, an opening hand of 3 lands and 4 7+ drops. I'm going to add a few ways to use the extra mana, as well as some equipment that could prove useful. Now, hold on. I am not putting Helm of the Host in here. I know you thought about Helm of the Host. There is no need. You're a monster. Just stop. Here's what the deck's looking like for us. There are a few cards that are way better than they should be. Namely, Ashaya, making all of our creatures lands, or Devilish Valet, just in case we start to elf ball a bit, that could easily one-shot someone. If I could call them dishonorable mentions, even though Great Henge is good, having Ragadraga out actually makes it less than 7 mana to cast, which reminds me, I'd recommend removing Ghalta if you're going to be copying this deck from the description. We want everyone to have a deck that's at least a little bit their own, so if you do, I ask that you change at least 1 card. Whatever card you think should go, or don't have, whatever, it'll work just fine.
Enough talk! Me want smash! On to game 1.
Opening hand for this one is kind of nice. There's only 2 lands, but because of our Amanda Dork theme, these 2 dorks can help counteract a drought. Although, we still like to draw a couple, we also have a big spell in the form of the Great Henge and an actual 7-drop. The thing that really makes me want to keep this is the Sword of Forge and Frontier. Its protection from red and green, our opponent's deck, as well as its pseudo card draw and ramp rounds out the hand nicely, I think. Alright, we'll lead with a Fabled Passage and find ourselves a forest. Opponent leads a forest of their own. Mountain into Naga Vitalist and pass. Opponent will line up the shot on our end step in the mode draw card. Play a Shatter Skull and pass. We draw another 7-drop. I think I want to get enough mana for our commander, so let's Sanctum Weaver. We can get a free swing in too, then pass it over. Opponent flexing their lands on us by playing a forest, then playing a Cultivate, getting 1 of each, putting the mountain into play. Man, another dork. I think I have to take a chance and play this Llanowar Visionary, drawing us a land. Amazing, I'll take it. Let's just play a Chandra's Embercat and pass. Opponent plays the other land and then jams Questing Beast, swinging before the card can even hit the board. Then, this guy friggin' bolts the bird, or cat. We'll miss another land drop for a dork. Nice. Since the beast has vigilance, I'll play the sword, equip it to the Visionary. Lands over blockers at this point, so we swing and thankfully manage a land. Minsc isn't missing their land drops. They'll mutate a Gemrazor onto the beast. It was nice knowing you, Forge and Frontier. They'll attack and pass. Remember the deck recap? I lied. I didn't put any lands in this one, actually. I think I need to start threatening this Questing Beast in some way, so it's time to play our commander, Ragadraga, and attack with the Visionary. Collision Colossus before blocks? I wonder what it'll do with... Yep, that sounds about right. I guess we'll have to pass for now. Show Off plays a Boseiju as land for turn, and then follows it up with a Defiler of Rigor. I didn't play much Dominaria United, but I know that the Defiler cycle is nothing to joke about. They play a Reclamation Sage, put a counter on their creatures, and killing our Sanctum Weaver. And then they attack with the Beast. No blocks. Oh great, now we get a land. I think we'll have to play the Great Henge for the life it gives, and then play Sylvala. If we can make it back around the table, it gives us our best chance. Not a land. Hilarious. Opponent just better than me. They play their commander, Minsc and Boo, Timeless Heroes. The Defiler trigger, thankfully Boo doesn't get a counter from it, but it will give 3 from Minsc's +1. Then they'll play Luxior, Giada's Gift, equipping it to Minsc and swinging out with the big boys. I don't double block the Defiler because it kills both if they order our commander first, but I shouldn't assume our opponents see all of the lines. Take the last game of our first episode, for example. We'll go down to 2. Green lands don't exist, and we're dead to their commander's -2 on the next turn, so let's do what our deck's supposed to do and tap out for our Angrath's Marauders, buffing the Vitalist. Swinging in for 10, that's secretly 20, but fortunately opponent will just trade off the Questing Beast. Hey, on the bright side, they finally missed a land drop technically. GG opponent, on to the next one. Hey there, this is Editing Felix. I just wanted to let you know that yes, I could have attacked the Planeswalker. Did I know that at the time? Not at all. It wouldn't have mattered much because I still would have died from the crackback. The more you know. All green and only mountains? God, you gotta love free mulligans. This one's better. It's mostly creatures with mana abilities, even though we have 2 lands, our third being the Turntimber Symbiosis. If we need the land, we can play it, but if we draw into one, then we got a 7-drop ready to go. Let's do it. Opponent leads this time with an island. Looking like we'll have to play the land side at this rate. We'll command tower and pass as our opponent brainstorms. Then, they'll forest and play their commander, Lonis, Cryptozoologist. Getting nervous here, we'll play the forest and follow it up with a runaway Steamkin. Since our hand's mostly red, I want to get it growing. Lonis plays Island into a Midnight Clock and passes. We manage a mountain off the top, so we'll play it and then Maria, Scholar of Antiquity, getting a counter on the Steamkin. And then we'll swing in because I'm feeling lucky. They're going to lead off with a Lotus Cobra, which makes a clue with Lonis, and then they play a land for turn, making an extra blue with the Lotus Cobra. Finishing up their turn by targeting Maria with a yucky side of Incubation Incongruity, exiling our Elvish 3/3 to give us more of an amphibian one. Looks like we'll have to bolt ourselves to play the Turntimber untapped so that we can jam out Ragadraga. We'll put another counter on the Steamkin, and then we'll move to combat, swinging out since I don't mind if they double block the frog token. Opponent takes the 8. Lonis plays a forest, making an extra green, and taps out to play both Oyami Nartok, Polar Werebear, and a Sky Strike Officer, making a clue for both, then passing back. Fabled is right, but we'll take it. Let's play the passage, crack it for a forest, and then play the Leafkin Avenger to put a 3rd counter on the Steamkin, and then I think we'll pass it back. Opponent leads with a Teething Wormlet, which works really nice with their commander since Lonis makes a clue, and the Wormlet gives itself a counter. They'll move to combat and attack with the Sky Strike Officer, making a soldier, and then shipping it back. Okay, well, I think it's time to give the opponent some problems. First, let me sequence this wrong by playing Angrath's Marauders thanks to the Leafkin, and then we can untap the Leafkin with our commander's ability. I'll remove the counters from the Steamkin to play and equip the Dowsing Dagger to the Leafkin, giving the opponent 2 more bodies because I want more mana for next turn. We'll move to combat and swing out with the Frog and 2 Kins. And our opponent will block the... Wait, opponent? That's not enough. The Marauders doubles our damage. You need to block with the... Opponent? Opponent? Well, we won, but that felt dirty. You gotta read them cards, opponent. I'm not playing a 7-mana 4/4 because it's pretty. Bittersweet, I suppose. And kind of fast. Let's try another. Let's take a look at this opener. Nope. Sorry, that's not enough lands. No good dorks can make up for it either. No, I can't do that. It's pretty self-explanatory, I hope. Okay, this one I can manage, I think. I have 2 lands, which is classic for this deck, but I do have 2 dorks I can play and the 3rd in the back. I think I'll bottom the Terror of Mount Velis since the Great Henge will be cheaper and it can draw some cards. Our opponent starts the match with an Evolving Wilds, fetching an island. We'll play a land and pass. Then they'll copy us with the land pass maneuver. Thank you, thank you. Let's play our mountain into the Naga Vitalist. Oppo plays a land and then the Celestis, starting the Daybound cycle. Whoa, back-to-back lands? Well, let's play a forest and then jam our commander. Opponent's copycatting again by playing a land and then their commander, Joyra, Weatherlight Captain. Then they play the Mox Amber. They'll draw off the Mox, which they'll do for every historic spell, just like this Ornithopter, drawing again, and this Emry, Lurker of the Loch. They'll also mill 4 because of Emry's ability. Let's play this mountain and get our own draw engine going. We'll play the Great Henge, following up with a Mere Convert, drawing another land? Let's offer a trade with the boss, and then pass it back. Opponent starts off by attacking with Joyra and the Ornithopter. I'm not blocking. I'm sure there's a trick. Embercleave? Actually, I didn't expect that one. But they'll draw. And then they'll play an island into a yucky Foundry Inspector. Then they end their turn. We draw and play Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, drawing and putting a counter on her. Then we'll move to combat and attack with the Dorks, which lets us untap them. Second main phase, we'll play this Cradle Clearcutter as a 6/9, drawing us 2, one of them being the Nail in the Coffin, Craterhoof Behemoth. Joyra starting off her shenanigans with a Temple, scrying 1 and then topping it. Then plays a Mana Geode, scrying again, but bottoming this time. Then plays a Patchwork Automaton, a Chief of the Foundry, a Swiftfoot Boots, a Skyclave Relic, and a Blackbraid Reforged, drawing for each of them. I don't think that's enough toughness, though, to stop this. They'll just pass it back and... Come on! Nope, these games are going too quick. Well, for you guys, at least. That one made me wait 20 seconds between each action. Like, come on. Let's give it one more, win or lose. Alright, opening hand, and I don't think this one will do. I'd lose the Goldhound to not even guarantee our commander. Let's mulligan. No, this won't do either. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but a 2/2 Stone Coil won't cut it against Tiamat. But even though, like, it technically does? Whatever. Mull to 6. Okay, wow. This is the first true 3-land in hand. 2 Dorks and a 7-drop. I'm not expecting many counterspells here. Opponent starts off with a tapped land and says go. We'll play a mountain and pass. Slow and steady with another tapped land for opponent. We'll play out our forest and then this Llanowar Loam Speaker. Opponent's going to play a Corlessa Scale Singer and then a Temple of Mystery, topping it and pass. We're going to play another mountain and then play our Leafkin Avenger before passing back. It's a bit unfortunate opponent doesn't have any shock or check lands, but they'll play Bloodfell Caves, gaining 1 life, and then a Dragonlord Servant. We're going to use our Fabled Passage to fetch for a forest. I think we're going to play a Growing Rites of Illimat, grabbing... Oh, yeah. A Shaya? Yeah, thank you. Let's play the Reckless Barbarian and finish off by swinging with the Leafkin. Tiamat playing a Temple of Triumph, topping it, and then plays a Carnelian Orb of the Dragonkind, following up with a Fearsome Whelp. The Dragon Ball is now rolling, and like a boss, they smack us for 1 in the air. We draw and play a Beseiju as land for turn. Then we'll jam Ragadraga. This way, we can attack with everything, untap it all. An opponent will block the Loam Weaver and take 10. And we'll finish up with a Shaya, Soul of the Wilds. Since we have 4 or more creatures now, Growing Rites will flip into Itlimoc. Our opponent, while also being in danger, plays a Dreamroot Cascade. They follow up with Sarkhan Fireblood and upticking him in order to make the mana necessary to introduce the Queen of Dragons, Tiamat. With her ETB, she's going to search for 5 very big, very scary dragons, and I'd love to go into detail about them all, but why do that when I can just play my own very big, very scary dragon, Terror of Mount Velis. It'll give all of our creatures double strike till end of turn, and we could just give Ashaya +7/+7 and trample, making it a 21/21. Now all there is left to do is swing in with God damn it! Thanks for watching. Raga Draga is a lot of fun. Try to add some more land animation cards and lands themselves in the deck if you're going to build it, but don't expect the games to go long. This guy makes them fast as anything. I think the first one was the longest because I got mana screwed. Enough, I get it. I love talking apparently. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Be safe and try to be kind. I love you guys. Take care.